Test, test. I hope the mic was going the whole time. Um, but that scared me. So I lost my thought there for a minute. But yeah, I decided to just take the morning and lay in. But before getting all into Saturday, I wanted to recap one thing about Friday that was really dope. The Rap Head space. We had Finestro in there as a guest. It's a brother, a producer I met through a Discord over the summer, and he's a really interesting brother. He's Haitian, and hearing some of the production that he does, and then seeing how, just seeing him and his personality and how he engages, really makes me interested and curious about what makes him who he is. So we asked him to be on as a guest last night. We Friday night, and we had a good time talking and getting to know each other and just sharing some connections on the hip hop realm of what he does. Because you know what I do is primarily hip hop based, but we also talked about some of his other things. He played something really interesting. It's a recorded space on Twitter. We went really long. It was really unstructured, and we probably need to do more structured stuff when it comes to this stuff. But we had to hang out, and it was cool, man. So you might want to check it out, especially hear one of the beats that he let us play. I'm really curious about what he's gonna do with it because it's really interesting and dope to me. Um, but yeah, yesterday after laying in and taking my time, getting up and moving slowly, uh, we s- I saw went downstairs to feed Zen, and there's a baby deer right outside the window, man. And we got to stare at each other for a while. I got to watch him walk up. He was probably about 10 feet away. That was really dope. And then you know, it I was mad because my phone was full, so I couldn't take video or anything. But it's time to just sit there and enjoy some things, I guess, right now. Excuse me, I had a sip. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure what part what this is about right here, but oh well, I talked about Yanni. I talked to Yanni about seeing the deer out there, and that was dope. And then we saw another one that only had one antler, one a deer that had one antler outside of the window, and we joked. She joked about how it reminded her of the one from some cartoon. I forget what it is, Open Season, I think, or something like that. And then I thought about how they cull the deer population around here every year. I was like, damn, this might be the only chance a human being ever really witnesses this one guy. I know it's unlikely, but just think about it. And it's just like think about his like how his life could be just be ended because somebody decides, we the deer are overrunning our human encampments. Like we have more rights over this domain, and we don't need to find some way to achieve balance with them. We need to cull them, and it made me feel like, damn, kind of feels like we need to be cold in a way. And I know that's dark, so excuse that. It's just a thought, man. But damn, that's the type of stuff that goes to my head. So I'm trying to figure out ways to share some of the stuff that goes on inside of my head. But today, so far, it's early. It's 8 o'clock a.m. where I am, Eastern Standard Time. Um, Went for a walk with Zen after feeding them this morning in the woods, and it was after seeing some deer right out back. And I was like, yo, we're just gonna go for a walk and see what happens while the deer are out there. And it was dope because us the deer weren't too far. Zen and I minded our own business. We went for a walk down to the little creek, came back from the creek, and as we're coming up the hill to the creek, right at the top of the hill, about 10 to 15 feet away, is a deer staring me in my face, man. One of the ones, I know it's one of the ones that was we saw earlier. So we just stood there and just kind of stared at each other for a minute, and then flipped from the stare down to starting to slowly walk away. I did some little talking, light talking to it or whatever, and had to talk to Zen, of course, get him to heal. And it was a dope little moment, man. So it made today feel good, and it probably helped me feel like, yeah, let's hurry up and get up on this thing, have some fun today. Give the update instead of skipping till tomorrow because normally I don't do Sundays. Um, so update on HFR. Finally found what I was missing. Got my inspiration for my creative direction on that edit I was doing for Kitty this week. Like I was doing the edit and I found a groove last Sunday, and started to find my direction, or maybe it was Monday, and found a direction. I was enjoying the direction I was going in, but then I was realizing it was gonna become a long form piece of content. So I was like, shit, pardon my French. I was like, shoot. So since I figured it's gonna be a long form piece of content, I knew needed a way to cut it up to make sense for Kitty, to be able to share on social media, and in case we want to share some on our social medias too, or in case she wants to. I want to really see like what her vision is, and try and help execute her vision more than anything. I can put it on my portfolio on my timelines at any point, but I don't want to just rush and maybe eclipse some plans that she has um, by featuring it on something. I gave a preview somewhere, but you got to kind of be plugged in to see where my preview is for it. But I sent it to her, and I'm waiting for her to get back to me. But I'm happy because I found the creative direction for it last night on how to get those little short snippets and pieces. So, yay, happiness and all that stuff. Um, let's see what else. Anything else from my HFR? Yep. We decided. Somebody asked about the family meeting, the next family meeting. Last week it was, I believe. So I'm gonna try to get some invites together and get an agenda together for a family meeting for next Sunday. I think we should have at least one before the end of the year. It was great having the first one we had, and I want people to know that even though we're not doing the crowd fund anymore, that doesn't mean HFR is done. Even though we've had to pivot and we're focusing on trying to develop services to market, well, not develop, but packaging and preparing to market our services, for pay, which is what we didn't want to do with HFR at the beginning. So as we're preparing all that, you know, we want to be able to give people some of those updates, and then some updates on some of the things we're going to do differently and new, and maybe some of the things we might stop doing next year, and then get some ideas on what the community or what the family actually wants to do, because we want to build something that's valuable to the people that are engaging with us and valuable to the people who are going to end up being founders and who are in some ways co-founders of the HFR community. It's budding right now, and it's kind of a cloud. It's kind of an electron cloud right now, but I think I know we're gonna do something really special when some of the dust settles from what's going on right now, and I'd like the community to be a part. So family meeting is important, I think. Um, so trying to get that scheduled this week. Uh, and then also just decided last week that I'm gonna really try and not bug Yanni with too much on this front, because she's really focused heavily on her yoga teacher training, and she deserves the space to be able to focus on that just to meet a goal. So I'm gonna try and take all the as much as I can on the HFR side for a while I'm doing some of this other stuff. With the RMA and with Grayskull and you know Rapids, NFT Voices, um, and working on generating the income part. All of this stuff is intertwined, in my opinion, because this is part of my advertisement as far as I'm concerned. And this is also practice for me when I spend time doing this stuff, getting organized for business. It's practice for me talking, because I don't talk often unless it's just to Yanni. So this is practice for me talking and getting my thoughts better organized when I communicate. Um, it's a lot that goes into this in my head. It's not just me wanting attention. It's definitely not that. It's me wanting to make sure that I'm on point and doing better and better and better with communicating, because that's essential right now. That's the most important thing that we can do right now in order to reach the next levels of I don't even want to say levels, but needs to reach the next milestones on our path. Communication is going to be key, because it's about building connections and trying to stay away from the word community, but it's about building connections that are going to be feel good and feel right, but are also going to, well, first and foremost, connections that feel good and feel right. Enough of those is dope, and I'd love to have those in abundance, right? But connections that can also help us build what we're trying to build now, because we can't do it by ourselves. Not with the plans we have. It's to the point that I'm now really like I have to create. I've been wanting to do it for well over a year, and now I'm at a point where I have to create an organizational chart to show how everything interconnects. Because I think the only person that kind of understands it is Yanni. A couple other people have ideas of how some of the things that I'm doing connect, but I think when you can see how everything connects in my head, it's I think it's going to do something different to inspire more support. It's going to turn some people off probably too and make people think I'm crazy. But for the people who are looking to invest and looking to build some things themselves, or who just have some other skills that they want to contribute to something bigger that's about more than just themselves, I think this is going to mean something to them, and it's going to help. If I get the org chart together, then I finish a lot of this other documentation that I'm doing in Trello for all of the different things that we're building, from Gray Skull to Gray Space to Grade Skull to Wrap Heads to RMA to HFR to, yeah, there's a lot. And I'm realizing that all of this is inside of my head, or so much of it is inside my head, and getting it out on paper here in Trello is really helping me prepare to make sure that this communication or these communication skills matter and do what they're going to do, not what they're supposed to do, but what they're going to do. It's this is going to work once I get all of this organized and together and presented properly into the form of business plans, for example, and the form of grant applications, yes, but also verbally through conversation. Face to faces are coming soon. I'm gonna have to do the learn how to build a network in creative communities. I've never had to do that before. And in different types of creative communities where commerce is also encouraged and prioritized, because I want to build something creative for a living too. I don't want it to become overbearing or become a job that I hate. So I'm looking and learning and exploring and kind of doing this on the fly with a lot of this. But the plans on the things I want to build are not on the fly. But learning how to monetize is the part that's on the fly, and that's, I'm walking a tightrope right now. Uh, but you know, it's that important to me. But so all that next, one more thing that I wanted to just kind of give a quick little peek or preview about one thing that we're going to be doing next year for HFR. That's a series that I want to do called HFR Connect. Yanni came up with the handle for Twitter, and we've thought about it in different ways. One of the ways I think we could really use it is we've been doing a lot of networking and meeting people and just vibing and bonding with people, different people, and a lot of the conversations we have are really really interesting. I think because people tell me I ask a lot of interesting questions, and because of the questions, and because Yanni does the same thing, I believe, and she brings a different element too. She brings that humanizing, extra humanizing, the rehumanizing element to the table. So we figure, why don't we start? I figure, why don't we start sharing some of these conversations, and turn them into slight interviews, but not quite interviews, in place of Artist Touch, which is a big production for us and takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of effort to present to you guys. This will give us a chance to just share some people and share some moments that are really special. I've got a bunch of joints like this recorded, but I think if we do them live, it cuts down on the amount of time I've got to invest, so it helps us keep HFR going while we're doing the other things that we have to do to earn money to build HFR. So HFR Connect is going to be a live series that we're going to do um, next year. Got quite a few people already on the list that I want to reach out to, and I'm coordinating with one that's really going to be, I think, a great. It may not be the starter, but it's going to be something really exciting, and I think we're both really excited about what this one's going to lead to, as far as just understandings with ourselves and just new ideas and new thoughts and things to explore after this conversation. I know it's going to happen. So we're also going to use this to introduce the world to members of our community. And, we've had episodes of Artist Touch with people. We'd like to check in with them and share, what's going on with them now, or what's going on between us and them. For example, the collab with Space Kitty. It would be nice to share, some of that, some of the story behind that with you guys, because I feel like it's inspiring, and I'm very proud of her for what she's doing and how she's rolling, how she's evolving. Um, and I think that's something that's special and needs to be recognized. That's something that's really big about me. One of the big reasons why I do, and I'm so pressed to do what I want to do here, is I really want to show recognition to creators. That's part of the mission statement that Yanni initially created before we went to just rehumanizing creators, was rehumanizing creators by making them feel seen as people. So making people feel seen is important and a priority to her and to I. And we do that and want to do that because we know what it's like to have not have that, along with other forms of variety of other forms of support that we're looking to figure out how to facilitate and provide to creators, because since we've been able to provide a lot of that to each other, it's exponentially increased a whole lot of levels of joy and happiness in our lives, each of our individual lives. So we want to be able to share that with other people, and it's brought a lot more peace and contentment to our lives. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the HFR. I know that's a lot, and I'm ready to hurry up and get off of here because I want to do 10 minutes and be out. I'm way off. Um, Grayskull, winners and losers. I really, really listened to that mix the past couple days finally, and got to like put it on in the headphones in the car, all that, and ooey, Q did his thing with the mix. I don't. I gotta just get with him and see where he stands on it. But it's been dope, and I haven't really checked in with him or anybody much lately, over the past week or so, because I've been really, really figuring out how to get organized and really doing a lot of this mold stuff where I'm in a hole, digging, putting things together. Uh, Got to find better balance with that. But right now, I'm in a crunch. I'm in crunch time right now. It's important for me to do this right now or be spending a lot more time chasing paper in other ways. And I really believe in myself. I really believe in the people around me. I really believe in this. And I there's a couple of people I've been talking to where we're in the similar spots. So we're communicating more. Where we're all saying that, if I divert attention to this, I'm scared of what's going to happen to it. And I feel like it's that important. So I'm going to keep trying to find balance, but there are some areas where I just have to sacrifice for a minute. And I hope I'm making the right decisions. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot of Grayskull. Like I said, I missed both of the meetings because they were in the evening, and I was just beat by the time the evening came. I've been waking up at like 3, 4 a.m. in the morning and getting up and going through my day, having full days. Um, and I've been crashing early. Um, Project RMA. It's part of this Rap Heads edit, I believe. So let's just get that up there. Boop 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 boop. No, it's not in there. But one thing is, we finished that pitch deck, and the pitch deck was dope. The pitch deck was really, really dope, and we didn't finish it together on the call, but I think I finished it yesterday. I got to show it to him on Monday, and maybe even today if we get a quick minute to check in. We try not to do any work on Sundays here in this house, and I think that's pretty much the same in the other homes. We're still getting familiar with one another and building the community culture. So it's one of the questions that's on my list. Um, but we'll finalize this pitch deck, and I'm excited about what it's gonna mean. I also started working on some storyline stuff. We've been needing to do some tweaks to the storyline, so I started doing some writing on that last night. I'm excited. I did a lot of talking through ideas and stuff with that with Yanni, and we came up with some really interesting stuff. So um, I'm creating a separate doc to kind of share with the fellas with what we and lady, uh, to go with what we discussed and with what was already documented before then. So that's the RMA update, and then get some interesting meetings coming up. One tomorrow that I'm really excited about, and that's it for RMA Rap Heads community. Man, I listened to all the mixtape tracks last night. I was late. I know I was yeah, I was dragging. Um, but I put in my votes last night, and I'm really enjoying this. Like, going through all that music, it felt like in my 20s there was a period where I felt like I wanted to be an A&R, and I don't think I don't know how I'd be as an A&R, right? I've got very different tastes, and I can be very, if I have to put on my very, very critical hat, I feel like I'm a bad guy, so I don't like to do that. Um, and some of my tastes are very odd, and just just for me too. So very, very niche, and I don't know how to judge between that. That's probably the reason why I'm not and haven't been thinking about being a DJ, because I don't know how to just play stuff that other people want to hear, and some of the stuff that I really enjoy. Other people just can't do it. Um, so this is dope that I can see all of these different styles and types of music coming from all these different walks of life, like a wildly more diverse group of people than I've ever worked with before, and having to really, really like look into somebody else's perspective and world through their music and feel like, yo, is this hip hop? Or does this give me that hip hop feel that I'm looking for? Does it feel like hip hop? Okay, and what's being said is what's being said. Is it something that I can feel comfortable endorsing, putting out in the world attached to my name too? Um, Not that I would ever want to censor somebody, but there's some messages that like I think everybody should be able to express whatever they want to express musically. But there's some messages that I am not willing to be attached to transmitting. And since I may be possibly on this project in some way, I'm not voting for anything that might be sending some messages that don't rock with me. And that's not me passing judgment on anybody sending those messages in the cases of anything on this mixtape at least. If it was something that I thought was really, really damaging to culture and society in a heinous way and in a malicious way, it'd be something different. But one of the things I'm hoping for through the having community like this and projects like this is opportunities to when something like that comes up, have conversations with people and understand where they're coming from. See if maybe they can understand perspectives that I may hold or perspectives that I understand others may hold. Um, so that we can do the things to try to remove some of the poison from hip hop culture that's been injected through a variety of different sources. I'm not even going to get into that right now. Tinfoil tingles is off track. Um, so yeah, it's gonna give me. I think it's gonna give opportunities to build bridges and help spread and preserve the core elements of hip hop culture, and I mean culture, the ones that I can pass on at least. Like I'm not a dancer. I don't I don't do graph, but there are a lot of elements of hip hop culture that I love and adore, and I adore I love and adore all of them. But there are elements that I love and adore and practice or play with and or maybe know some things about that are important, and I want to be able to pass those on to certain people so that people don't keep reducing it to being just music, especially music that's not really representative of what hip hop culture is. Soapbox off of that now, but I want to be able to have those types of conversations with people to make sure that I do my part to help hip hop um, culture live, because through conversations that others had with me and through reading things like certain magazines, I'm not going to name certain ones because some of them were a little out of pocket. Um, but through reading certain magazines and other sources and conversations with the right people, that made me feel closer to hip hop and made it feel like it made it feel more like family to me. It made it feel like it helped me understand that hip hop was a culture. So, and that made it stick with me even more. So I want to be able to give that to some people, and I want to make sure that the culture also has the opportunity to do more than survive and thrive even more in the long run, and maybe eradicate or help fizzle out some of the more less sincere elements that are attached to it or that are being seen as the face of hip hop. All right. Last things. I don't know how much more I'm going to talk about here. NFT voices. Today, part two at 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mental maintenance. Part two of our conversation from last Sunday on autism, ADHD, and unmasking with Devin Gann and Homer Reed Jr. Drip Lord and I are both going to be hosts today. Tyler, I know you're out there with the in-laws, man. Have fun, man. We'll miss you, and we'll catch up with you next time around. Um, yeah, that's really it, man. But here's a chance for you to see kind of what I do on Trello, to prepare for each day now as I'm doing this, and I'm trying to find more and more efficient ways of doing this. Like I really want to try teleprompter so I can look at the screen and be still on cam if I need to, and only on the cam, not because I love being on cam, but because I'm trying to learn to get used to being present on cam and trying to learn how to like look at the camera, for example, more often. And this is all helping me practice, get used to that. And I'm only doing this because no one else will do it right now. Because I really don't want to do it, to be honest. I've been trying to avoid it for years. That's what slowed me up and probably helped make it harder for us to be generating funds right now when we need to be generating funds, man. But lessons learned, and it's been a lot of fun on the road, so it doesn't matter. But you know what I'm talking about. I think this is enough talking for the day. I appreciate anybody that's paid attention to this. If nobody paid attention, that's cool. This is great practice, and y'all have a good one, man.